Polo motivation, bro. Look, don't shortchange yourself and don't shortchange what you could do. Okay. Everything that you attack it with fear. Attack it, attack it like you mean it. Attack it like you want it. A lot of y'all don't know what that means. If there's a fear that you have, whether it's fear of heights, fear of getting on a train, a plane, a boat, or any of that, guess what? You have to attack that. And attacking that, you have to do it big. Now, some people might think I'm just talking about primarily success. What's up with it, True Viking? I see you in the building, Queen. Some people might think that I'm just talking about primarily success or, having things or material things. That's not the only thing that I'm talking about because doing it big is a mentality. Doing it big is a mentality. You might be struggling right now financially. You can still do it big because you have a mentality not to quit and a mentality to go further. And you look at the bigger picture. A lot of men, and pretty much we're genetically inclined to think this way. We think logically. We see the bigger picture. A lot of women, they're for the now, and that's not to disrespect my queens out there. They want things now, but we see the bigger picture. You have to do it big. Whatever you set out to try to accomplish, you have to do it big. You cannot shortchange yourself. Go in it full force, and you got to go in it, with fierce. And if you're going in it, with the group of people, you have to make sure that they're doing it at the level that you are. Y'all, all of y'all have to be on the same page. And if nobody's on your page, sometimes you just got to let them people go. What's up with it, Stephen Green? Everybody's not going to be on the same page. Everybody's not gonna see things the way that you see them. But if there is a person or people that are not really seeing your way of accomplishing things, your way of attacking things, they're folding when the pressure gets tight or when the pressure gets really hot. Get rid of them. Get rid of them because all they're going to do is hold you back. Some of you may have felt like just because you have accomplished something, hey, that's it for me. You can kick your feet up and relax. No, 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 not at all. That's the wrong thing to have because once you accomplish something that you set out to do, you should actually be hungry for more. That's just like what Lloyd Banks has said. Hunger for more. You got to want more. You got to want more success, and don't stop. The retirement is a physical thing. But if you're retired in your mind as a mental state, I'm trying to tell you that you're not going to go far. You should always want more. You should always want to keep keep going hard. You should always not want to shortchange anything that you do. Okay, if if there's a house that you want, and you want you desire to have a 5 bedroom and a 3 bathroom or something like that, go for it. Go for it. Don't let anybody distract you with saying, okay, well that house is too big for you, or that house is too expensive for you. No, because in your mind, you know that you could accomplish it. If there's a job where, it's quote unquote for a particular class of people or whatnot, and you desire to have that job, you want that position, right? But you got people up here trying to dummy you down and saying, well, I don't think this position is fit for you. You should go try to work somewhere else. Don't listen to that. Go ahead, go do it big. Even if you have to apply 50, 60, 70, 100 times, keep going back. Even if they tell you no, keep going back. Keep going back, keep going back, keep going back. I know people that have went to, because it's funny that Stephen Green is in here, um, federal, state, and government jobs, and they have applied. And if you don't know about state, federal, and government jobs, there are steps that you have to take. Some of them, it's going to require you to go out of your way to do things. You got to really make time and preparation. You might have to chunk a little change a little bit. It's not an easy step, but some people have done everything that they can to get that particular position, but they've been denied. They've been denied. They've been denied. They've been denied. Keep on going back. Keep on going back. That's just one aspect, right? If you still have athletic goals that you are trying to reach, athletic aspirations, whether it's you wanting to play, still play in the World Cup and play soccer, or you wanted to play overseas and play basketball. Even some of you really have the desire to play in the NBA. Still go for it. Still go for it. No matter how many times they deny you. And some people are going to say this statement right here. Maybe this field is not for you. Maybe this sport is not for you. Because when you're able to accomplish it, oh man, it'd be like beating your older brother or something, or beating somebody that you never thought that you could defeat. It's a wonderful feeling. You said it took me 3 years to get a government job. I didn't give up. Yeah, you're not supposed to, and you don't want anybody else around you that gives up. You don't want anybody else around you to automatically fold when stuff hits the fan, right? If you want to get better in terms of your health, do everything that you can. Do it big. If they are wondering why you became a vegan, don't let them distract you and laugh at you. Or I mean, don't worry about them laughing at you on your journey. Just tell them I'll meet you at the finish line. If you're taking necessary steps to get your health right, internally, if you're trying to do everything that you can to be the best version of yourself, guess what? Those people that are laughing at you, those people that are talking about you, those people that are, trying to distract you, guess what? They're not doing it big. They're not doing it big as you. And one of the most things that you could do big is making sure that you take care of your health, because your internal and physical health is better than any amount of money or any amount of generated wealth that you can have. It's always health over wealth, but that's just one aspect. Now, if you're focused on wealth, you know you do have to do it big. You know, try to if you've already accomplished, okay, I have an apartment. Do everything that you can to get out of that apartment because you want to do everything that you can to eventually own something. That should be your goal with everything is to own it. That's of the highest order. And once you own something, go ahead and own more than one thing. You know, if you got one certification, don't stop there. Get a couple of certifications. You know, you can get a CDL. You know, that's a certification. You could get certified in IT. You don't have to stop there. Invest your money into something that's going to help you out. You have to do it big. Then get you another certification. You know, get your certification in electric. Being an electrician, HVAC. There's many different things that you can do that you can accomplish. Don't limit yourself either, because that's a part of doing it big. You know, when people see you doing it big too, oh, like I said earlier, people are gonna prey on your downfall. You know, when they see you happy, people are gonna do everything that they can to prey on your downfall. Don't shortchange for anything. Don't shortchange for anybody. When you get into a relationship, male or female, look, it's okay for them to give you advice or to, have their input on things. But do not let them change your purpose. Do not let them change your mindset. You have to do it big. You have to do it gigantic, really. Don't just do it big, do it gigantic. A lot of y'all don't take any steps to make yourself better, to go above and beyond what is necessary. And y'all are just content with what you're doing. No, you should always want to get better. If they look at you crazy, well, man, why is he doing this? You know, like when you're, let's say you're, copying, a word 50 times. They used to look at me crazy because, you know, I had to copy out of the dictionary, you know, a word like maybe, 100 times or something like that. Other kids are gonna look at you, they're gonna be like, well, why is he doing that? Or why is his mom or his family making him do this when he should be outside playing or something like that. They do the same things as adults. They're wondering why. Okay, well, why isn't he partying all the time? Why is he so focused on his work? Maybe he sees the bigger picture and he wants to do it gigantic. He's not happy. You never want to be satisfied in your success, and you should want more. You should keep. You should do better than even better than what you did the next day. Now, sometimes that's not going to happen, but you want to keep striving for it. You want to keep pushing for it because eventually, there are going to be people that are going to want to do what you're doing, and they're going to want to know. They're going to want to know the steps that you take and everything, and be humble about it. Be humble about it. I never for one second in my mind try to think about giving up. Now, have there been times when it came in my mind? Yeah, absolutely, on a lot of things. But see, that's just an illusion.
That's just an illusion. That's just an illusion, and there's always going to be negative illusions that are going to come up in your mind. Now, this picture that I have up here is Keisha Dior, which is Gucci Man's wife. Now, the reason why I put her up there is because, believe it or not, Gucci Man had referenced her, and he had said, or Guwap, as y'all know, he basically said that if it wasn't for Keisha Dior staying with him, not giving up, right? He wouldn't have known where he would have been. He probably would have been dead. But the fact that she stuck with him, didn't give up, and she wants to make sure that he supersedes what he did by being gigantic in what he does. And if you're with somebody, they should encourage you to be going further and do it even bigger than what you did yesterday. Don't just rest. Hey, look, it's gonna be hard. There's gonna be some times when you get tired. There's gonna be some times when you don't want to go to work. It's gonna be some times when you just want to probably quit what you're doing. But just think about, okay, if I'm doing this and I'm going even harder, the next second, think about what I could accomplish. Think about who's watching you, because you never know who's watching you, and that could be anybody. If you got kids, they're paying attention to what you're doing. They're looking at, okay, well, my mom and my dad, they're out here working hard and doing everything that they can to provide for me. They probably, at that age, they're probably not looking at it that way, but they're looking at it as mommy and daddy is going to work or whatnot. And some kids might understand. Kids are more intelligent than what you think. There's your bosses or your supervisors, they might not say anything to you, and some of them will do some foul things to you, like trying to take advantage of you because they know that you're a yes man and everything like that. And then once you tell them no, then they want to try some way to diminish what you've done. You have people out there like that, but just keep on doing it big. When you go to work, make sure that you're early. Make sure that you're early. Don't be on time. When you're on time, you're late. Make sure your job is done better than everybody else. Don't brag about it. Don't be braggadocious. You know what I'm saying? Don't sit there and be a show off. Because more people recognize that. If you're going to a job where on any job you should dress your best. And if you don't have the type of clothes that everybody else has, man, take care of what you got so that you can be able to look presentable. A lot of people, they'll look at you and they'll judge you, by your appearance. Make sure, whenever, if you're gonna do it big, make sure that you're doing your hygiene big. You understand what I mean? Make sure that your teeth are taken care of. Don't just brush your teeth. A lot of people just think, okay, yeah, brushing my teeth, I'm good. No, make sure that you're brushing your teeth. Make sure that you're flossing. Make sure that your breath is on point too. Make sure that you are brushing your tongue. And I know some people, well, what does this have to do with doing it big? It has a lot to do with doing it big, because guess what? It don't stop there. You have to go to the dentist and make sure that you're going into the dentist on a regular. Some people neglect the dentist for whatever reason, not realizing that your dentist, you going to the dentist, can actually have a big impact on your future, believe it or not. So you want to do it big in that regards. Make sure that when you're taking care of your hair or whatever, do it big so that you can look presentable. If they feel like you're set apart, man, shoot, be as lonely as you can be. Set yourself apart. Set yourself from others. Don't try to be like everybody else. That's what defines who you are. You know, you shouldn't want your whole prime objective is to do it gigantic and to make sure that you set yourself apart. Because if one of the things that makes you who you are is the fact that you're not like everybody else, you're not a carbon copy. Because believe it or not, a lot of people don't really respect carbon copies because guess what they're saying? They're saying, ah, well, he was like such and such anyways. But they have more respect for the person that is actually being themselves and not trying to, copy what everybody does. Now, sure enough, like they say, it's a copycat league, it's a copycat world. But I don't really see it that way. I don't really see it that way. You stay in your lane. Stay in your lane and continue to obtain. That's what I was taught. And if people don't want to, if there's some people that should be in the far right when we're talking in the driver's sense, but it's an interpretation. There's some people that you know they should remain in the far right, but you have people that are in the fast lane, that are in the left lane, and that's for people that are willing to drive fast. But if you can't keep up with the speed, you shouldn't be in there. You go at your own pace. You should always do everything that you can to set yourself apart. If they look at you weird, let them look at you weird. But just know that they're doing it. That you're doing it gigantic. It's all about approach. It's all about how you approach everything. It's just like for you fellas out there that desire a female. It's all about your approach, and it's the same thing when you're trying to accomplish something. And you're set out and you're dedicated to something. You have to make sure that you're doing it gigantic. Sometimes it's going to take money to make money. If people are telling you that your business is is about to fold within the next 2 to 3 years, say tell them I believe otherwise, and that I'm gonna be gigantic because usually they in the beginning they don't jump on anything until they start to see something or they start to see success. But in the beginning, they don't stand 10 toes down with you. They don't want to have anything to do with you in the beginning. Everybody has different levels of what they want to accomplish. But me, in my eyes, I'm going to accomplish everything that I can at the highest orders. Yeah, look, you're gonna get knocked down. It's funny because I was looking at the documentary with, and I mentioned it before, with Magic Johnson and Showtime. Magic Johnson got knocked down. All right, he got knocked down, but guess what? He ended up doing it big. His whole aspirations was to do it big. Nobody thought that Magic Johnson was capable of being his size and playing the point guard position. But guess what? He felt otherwise. You see what I'm saying? He felt otherwise, and he still succeeded. People looked at it as unorthodox because at that period of time, it was very unorthodox to do something like that. They thought it was. They thought they think our people in general, the way that we do things are unorthodox. But you should appreciate that because that's how you do it. You do it gigantic, and don't settle for less. Don't settle for less. And that was one of the things that Magic Johnson, they offered him a certain amount of money. He said, "No, I'm worth more than that." He said, "I'm worth around six," and at that time that was quite a bit of money. I think it was 600,000. They had offered him. He said, "No, I'm worth more than that," and that's how you should feel. You should be worth more than that. Don't shortchange for nothing. And a lot of times people are mad because you know, you're not doing what they're doing. You're not doing what they're doing. You're not, you pay attention to what they're doing, but you're not being a part of what they're a part of. And listen, a lot of them, they just want you to fail. They're mad because their journey, you're not on the journey that they're on. You know, don't worry about that. Whether I was an underdog all my life and I proved people wrong. Well, you know, don't even worry about proving people wrong. Matter of fact, prove yourself wrong because that's the hardest objective that you could do. I learned that a long time ago. If you're out there to please people or to prove people wrong and everything like that, I mean, you don't get me wrong, you'll get far, but you'll get even further if you prove yourself wrong because a lot of times we're the victim of our own demise. We are our self-doubt. We are our we hold ourselves back because sometimes in your mind you're telling them your mind is telling you, okay, yeah, I can't do this or I can't do that. Don't look at the place where you might be working or you might be at. Look at where you're going because where you're going is going to be much bigger. You know, I don't really, underdog is an understatement if that makes any sense. Underdog is an understatement because I'm gonna root for myself regardless of what they think. You know, uh, and you really shouldn't look at yourself as an underdog. You should always go in with the mentality of thinking or being, not thinking, being the top dog. Many business owners and CEOs, uh, you know, perfect example of that documentary or the docu series with the Showtime Lakers. Jerry Buss had ambitions of doing something bigger. Now, whether or not he had enough money to accomplish purchasing the Lakers, guess what? He still did it by any means necessary. Even if he had to borrow some money here and there, he even had to borrow money from his ex-wife. But some of y'all aren't doing whatever it takes, and some of y'all will do whatever it takes. But then when things don't come fast enough, then you get frustrated with yourself, and then you give up. You still got to do it gigantic because eventually it was come. It will come. You know, like I have this picture up here. With Guwap and his wife. People thought that Gucci Man was unorthodox, and he wasn't lyrical, and the dude, the way he looked and the way he talked and all of that stuff. It still didn't stop him from obtaining a level of success because he was doing it gigantic, and he felt that he was gigantic in his mind. All that size and age, and I look like this and I look like that. Get that out of your head. Because all you're doing is wanting people to feel sorry for you. All you're doing is attracting sympathy, and people want flamboyance. They want popularity and everything. Popularity gain doesn't mean anything. Not if you're not really doing something. And what I mean by that is, you have all these people out here, you have all these celebrities out here that say this and do this, but what are you doing gigantic for your community? What are you doing gigantic for your people? What are you doing gigantic for your family? Are you doing something gigantic? You know, you're putting your things off and setting your family up for success later on. And like I said, it's the bigger picture. You have to ask yourself that question, and a lot of people they don't ask themselves that question. And look, the fake love is going to come, man. Look, I deal with it all the time. A lot of these people that come up here and they'll say, they say what's up with you, what's up and all this other stuff. They're not saying what's up to you, and they really don't care how you feel. They don't care how you feel. What's up, Jelly Bean? They don't care how you feel. They're all about themselves, and they want a piece of the pie too. They want a piece of the pie after you have worked yourself up to gigantic. But they truly don't care about you, and they don't care what you have going. But there's gonna be people that truly are with you, and they're gonna stand 10 toes down with you, no matter what. You got to be careful of them, of those people. Look, you said facts. I noticed this shit with gaming community destination. Well, you can't be focused on that. You know, you can't be focused on uh, you know the gaming is a gaming is some people's life. Okay, that's what you have to understand. Gaming, some people live and they base their life on a game instead of basing it on reality, right? It's sort of like, you know, online. You know, a lot of people, they become victims of a lot of things because they base a lot of things on, you know, because of social media or, you know, being on various platforms and stuff, and they make that their life when that's not real life. It's a fantasy world. It's a fantasy world, and you have to understand that snakes are serpents, which is a snake, are very can appear very attractive. They can appear very good looking. They can appear nice, but you not focusing on that. Like, you know, don't get me wrong, be watchful and also, you know, also protect yourself and everything, but be focused on what you're doing that's gigantic. Be focused. What's up, Rayology? I see you in the building. Be focused. You know, listen, there's the social media life, because some people, they don't know how to do anything else but to spend time on the game. What are you doing? What are you, that energy that you're putting into your game? And look, I'm not trying to knock anybody. I'm not trying to offend anybody, you know, but you know, if I do, hey, that's not what I'm trying to do. But are you really, when you're not being successful at something and you're spending pretty much the majority of your day on your game, think about what you could do to be doing something constructive. You're sitting there and you're playing your game, what, 8 hours out of the day. Well, what are you doing with the other 16? Some people pretty much spend 22 hours on the game. Maybe take a break. They're eating while they take the game, and that's how they apply it to something else that they love. But what is it constructive that you're doing? You're saying that, okay, yeah, I want to get better, you know, in this particular area of my life. Okay, that area that you're playing your game, that you're doing on social media, that you're, you know, you're being on the gram, or you're spending with females that aren't taking you anywhere, at least you could be spending that to do something constructive. And look, I can't tell it. I appreciate it, Rayology. And some people don't think it's facts. Some people are like, "Ah, I don't want to hear that." But next thing you know, you turn around, you're 30. What have you accomplished? Then you turn around, then you're 40. You're still doing the same things that you were doing, you know, 10 years or 5 years prior. You're still stuck in the same place. You haven't moved up. You haven't moved up. You haven't progressed. You're wondering, oh, okay, well, why am I not getting ahead? You have to do things that other people really don't want to do. They used to look at Kobe, you know, RIP to Kobe Bryant, RIP to the late great Mamba. They used to look at his workouts as insane. They used to look at some of the stuff, you know, the drills that he was doing, you know, and they were wondering why was he doing this in the Lakers arena at like maybe 3 in the morning with chairs and trash cans and stuff like that, with drills and stuff like that. They were wondering, why is this guy waking up at 3, 4 in the morning to work out, even at his older age. You know, he was doing stuff that was out of the norm. And that's what you have to do to take yourself out of the norm. But, you know, gaming, like you said, Rayology, It's a fantasy world, and some people really get wrapped up into it, and not just gaming. With computers and technology in general, because it's not just gaming. It's not just gaming. I mean, whatever you take serious and whatever you put your energy into, don't be surprised if that comes back to you. So if you're spending time just doing just primarily social media, if you're spending time just doing gaming, and you're putting forth your best effort. Now, let's say if you're gonna game and you're gonna do the social media and everything like that, you have to go into it. Okay, what am I doing? Am I going in there to make money? Am I going in there to help people? Shoot, some people are going in there to destroy people. But whatever you put into it, that's what you're gonna get out of it. And you can't be surprised if negativity comes out of it, if that's all you're doing is there to destroy people. You can't be surprised if you're like, wow, I didn't expect to generate this amount of money. You can't be surprised if even if you're not successful, you're like, well, man, I'm not doing anything. And then 9 times out of 10, people give up on it, or whatever the case is. Whatever your objective is, it goes back to my point. Do it gigantic. You said most gamers will never understand real game. That's why I never speak on it. Well, I mean, look, you're entitled to your own opinion. Always remember that. And you're able to speak on whatever you want to speak on. But it is a fact of life. And some people that they might get offended. Some people, hey, that's on them. I never worried about if it's something that's really going to help somebody and really going to take them to another level. I never really worried about offending them. You know, uh, I worry about whether or not they're going to progress, and whether they're going to learn from it. Well, look, I don't want to make this, okay. Now, look, if if you happen to spend time not just on gaming, but just on something that's taken away from everyday life, you're not progressing in it. You're not generating, because sometimes I'm of the mindset of, if I'm doing something, what is it going to benefit me? How is it going to make me better? Because I'm at the stage of my life. He said, I feel you. There are certain things one must know if they're willing to grow. Yeah, exactly. That's what. Yeah, exactly. And see, you want to learn as much as you can. You want to learn as many things that you can, and you want to go with the intent to make sure that you're doing it gigantic. Make sure that you're doing it gigantic. That's why, like, that's what I was saying earlier, rheology. If if you're in one particular field or whatever, let's say you're a little bit older, let's say, well, man, I'm this age or something like that. I don't think I think it's a little too late. You've already defeated yourself. You've already defeated yourself, and that's not the mindset that you want to have. You want to be sure that, okay, look, so what? I'm such and such age. So what? I have this disability. So what? So what? I have something that is a little different from others. You have to deal with it get real with it, and spill with it, if that makes any sense. And I don't knock anybody for gaming. Look, if you're 18, 19 years old, and you just, you haven't quite figured out, life yet. You don't know what to accomplish or something like that. I'm not going to say that, it's okay to, spend all day on the game, but 9 times out of 10, you have individuals like that. But I just know for myself, especially when you're between the ages of, I would say, anywhere from 18 to 24, 25 years old, your whole intent is should be like, my ambition was, okay, what am I going to do in the next 5 years? Some people would like, what am I going to do in the next 2 years? Yeah, late bloomers. Yeah, exactly. Late bloomers. Nobody's thinking about, you have a lot of successful people that aren't thinking about, okay, age, and you know the what ifs and all this other stuff. If you're always thinking about what if, your mindset is already defeated. I know some people are going to disagree, but don't think, because 9 times out of 10, what if there's going to be a question, it's going to turn to what if I fail. And you shouldn't have any fear of failure. Matter of fact, if you do fail, it should you should take that as a learning experience, and just be able to attack it with the mentality to do it gigantic the very next time. you know and a lot of people don't understand that repetition repetition is the key. But you the way that you're doing it repetitively is key too. They always say, practice makes perfect. No, perfect practice makes perfect. You should be striving every day in whatever field that you're in, whatever craft that you're doing, whatever work that you're doing, even with your family, even if it's a goal that you're getting, you should always make sure that you're absolutely every second giving that 100%, and make sure that it's gigantic. Make sure that it's gigantic. If like I was just talking about earlier, with your hygiene, some of y'all don't even realize that your hygiene is bad until somebody actually tells you about it. Some of you don't realize how bad you may be at something until somebody tells you, and then when you hear about it, and then it knocks you on the floor mentally. And some of you, because you haven't been told the truth, the harsh truth. But how are you gonna deal with that? How are you gonna deal with that? Now, if they're being disrespectful with it and everything, okay, that's a whole nother turn right there. Yeah, meal plans are very important. But how are you going to be able to deal with that? How are you going to continue? I apologize about that. you know and people are snakes. People are snakes, and they they want to do everything that they can to stop you from being gigantic, you know. But all I say to the ones, that are being snakes, that are being fake, preventing people from being gigantic, you pay a price in that. You pay a price in pretty much everything that you do, you know. And they want to hear you. 9 times out of 10 nowadays, people are consumed with negativity. They make negativity gigantic. They don't make positivity gigantic, if that makes any sense. Not realizing that, guess what you're doing? You're really destroying yourself. Don't cling on. Don't if you're trying to be successful, cling on. And I'm not saying cling on as a following type of thing, but you should be ambitious to uh, be affiliated, if that makes any sense, to people, with people that have the same aspirations and have the same goals and have the same mindset as you. A lot of the daily grind affects our health in many ways. Basically, you won't have time to maintain health. Yeah. Well, health, like I said, health as well. Um, Look, you want to make sure that you're at least doing, because let's just face it, reality. You have people out here that uh, they don't, they might not have the necessary time per se to get in a full workout, but 30 minutes of activity. Also, making sure that you're, throughout the day, that you're really watching and maintaining what you're eating. Now, that's not to say that you know you might slip up. Everybody's gonna slip up. We are only human beings. But as long as you're doing your best to be the best version of yourself, and making sure that you're doing it gigantic, then that's gonna come. Don't get impatient. You have to be patient with your body, and understand that Rome was wasn't built in a day. If you have belly fat on you, you have to think about the amount of stuff that you were doing, your lifestyle, and what you have been doing, in the past couple of years or what have you, to put on that belly fat. And then if you're getting real upset, oh well, the belly fat's not coming off like I wanted to, or all this other stuff, you have to think long and hard what you were doing, all of the food that you were putting in, the lack of working out, the lack of sleep, the lack of healthy eating that I was doing. You have to think about that and see that's the same thing when you think about life and why you're not being successful. Think about, okay, what was I doing in the streets that prevented me from being successful? Why am I not getting ahead in life? Why am I struggling to get this job? Why am I struggling to progress with my business and stuff? You might have some things in your past that you keep thinking about that might be holding you back. You might have some things in your past that are coming to bite you in the ass, so to speak. But for everything you do, you pay a price for, and you can't get mad. You'll be like, man, why did this take place with me? Why didn't And another thing is being gigantic too is also finishing what you start. A lot of us, we sit here and we start something, but you have the ability to capitalize upon it? Do you have the ability to finish it? And a lot of you don't. That's a part of what construction is building something. You want to be an architect. You want to be an architect, and in your mind, you want to be able to to build things. You want to be able to make sure that you're built what you're building is gigantic. If if you are by yourself right now and you desire and want to have a family, you should you should want to build the best empire. You should want to construct the best empire, and focus on your vision. Focus on your vision. Your vision has to be tunnel. You shouldn't be focused on what anybody else is doing. That's really what social media is, and that's what well, the majority of social media is really focusing on what this person or what that person is doing. And you know if that's what you're doing, and the majority of that is what you're doing, then I feel sorry for you. Now it's okay to see how your how your family and your friends are doing, or you're just genuinely saying, hey, how you doing? I'm just stopping to say what's up. But if you're looking at, okay, well, how big is this guy's car, or how much money does this guy have? Pretty much being a pocket watcher, you're setting yourself up for failure, because that's not what you should be focused on. Hold on one second, y'all. You know, you shouldn't be focused on anybody else. I don't, and look, I don't look. Everybody has their own mentality. Everybody has their own way of thinking. I can't knock anybody else for the way that they think or the way they go about life. You know, but I know as for me, you you want to be able to apply what you do in a gigantic way. I'm telling you, I'm telling you. And when people see you, there are some people that aren't going to salute you, but in their mind they know that you are successful. They're not going to give you any praise. Look, don't if your whole objectivity is to worry about notoriety and popularity and praise and recognition, things of that nature, it's not going to pan out for you well. It's just like when you give somebody $50, you expect them, to give that money, back to you or whatever. Or, when you're in a rock and a hard place, don't worry about that. But I'm not trying to digress. But what I will say, about doing things gigantic, it's a mindset. When you're working out, make sure that you're striving to continuously do it big, right? If you're if you're doing uh, if you're doing the social media thing, and you're trying to create your brand, make sure that you're doing it with full potential. And first and foremost, if you're stepping into social media, and you're stepping in to do whatever it is that you're doing, whatever platform that you're doing, you need to decide to yourself, okay, am am I gonna get better with this that I'm doing? Where is this gonna take me? What is your end game? Because if your end game is not to progress in this thing, well, guess what? It's you might as well just go ahead and just do it for recreation or something like that. Because don't sit there, because you're gonna make yourself upset if you don't obtain that level of success. But I appreciate that, gangland. Salute to you. Right? Yeah. No, it's fine. I mean, look, like I said, man, I don't do this, for the hopes that people, you know, listen or hear me out or apply it. Look, if you wanna apply these things, that's fine. You can listen in all day, but if you're not comprehending and if you're not applying it, then it's not gonna help you. You know, I could get up here and talk all day, and it could go in one ear and out the other. But I have to also know, okay, have I done what I'm supposed to do, which is to help, a struggling brother or sister out there, or to help a male or a female get through what they're getting through. We can all laugh, we could joke, we criticize players, we could get on here and debate each other and stuff like that. But what are some things that are going to help the average person that might not be panning out well, that might have various things that they're struggling with in life? And one of the things that they do struggle with is doing things at a gigantic level. And some people think that you have to have a whole bunch of money in order to do things gigantic. No, you don't. Some people think that you have to have all the females in order to do it gigantic. No, you don't. Some people think that you have to have cars, houses, all this materialistic stuff in order to do it gigantic. No, you don't. Some people think that you have to be the most perfect dresser out there. No, you don't. It's a mindset. It's an absolute mindset, because you have to think about it. You got to start from somewhere. And see, a lot of you, y'all might have let the time pass by, and then you're ready to do something that you felt like you could have did maybe 5 to 10 years ago or whatever. But you're looking at, people that are, at a much higher level than you, or moving faster and all this other stuff. And then you get discouraged. You can't do that, and you can't worry about that, because that's what makes you mentally defeated. Don't worry about people. Look, if you support people and you feel like you're not getting the support back, hey, be like, I kind of knew and I kind of expected that. But just know that you have to continue to be gigantic at what you do. Polo Sports Talk and Entertainment. Make sure you like the video, share it, subscribe, hit the notifications. Till then, man, I'll get at you later.